The European semifinals are set. We have an Easter weekend full of matches across the Premier League, Serie A, and many, many more. In a world of negativity, let's try to find some positives. Welcome back to the Plus Money Podcast, your home for the best soccer bets in 15 minutes or less. I'm Andrew Passaro. He's Nick Dianni. Um, we could talk about European football, the Champions League. We could talk about Europa League. We're not going to. I will say, though, maybe it's a good reason to listen to this podcast because at the beginning of the year, I gave you PSG to reach the final at plus 1,000 and Inter to win the Champions League at 18 to 1. It is April 17th, and both of those tickets are still alive. That being said, I feel Barcelona feel inevitable. I really hope Arsenal doesn't feel inevitable. But after watching those games, who's in your Champions League final right now?
One team is unlike the others. They're a little bit less dynamic, but they're the only team that plays defense. So I would like to have the ticket that you have. I actually do have a very similar one. I think it was 13 to 1. I got it a little bit later than you did, but that is what I'm holding my my hope on. But it's been a great Champions League. The format's been good. Now seeing the best teams have played each other for the most part in these last two rounds, and semifinals should be good. So anybody's ball game, quite honestly.
There we go. All right. We will talk about Inter later in the show. Very big matchup in Serie A on Easter Sunday, 12 o'clock. But let's start with Everton. They're taking on Manchester City. Manchester City's last trip to Goodison Park. Um, I don't know why I wrote both of these picks down because I'm now looking at it. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? So I don't even know if I'm going to put this in, but I have both teams to score in over 2.5 at plus 105. It's hitting 5 of the last 10 for City. I think that's why I've written it down. Manchester City can't keep a clean sheet. Everton are going to be up for this game. It's a big game, home game. They're playing good ball right now. And City to score twice is minus 113, which I don't know if it's good enough for me. But it has hit in 5 of their last 7. And again, it's a more appropriately priced team total for City. Um, can Everton win this game?
They can. What's the incentive for them to do so? Right? They're safe. I mean, is their goal to pass Man United or pass Tottenham in the standings? Like, if it is, awesome. I hope they do it. I mean, it's kind of been fun to watch. City need points. That's really the only place I'm at. Like, if they do not get 3 points in this game, top five isn't even guaranteed. And that's like unthinkable. I would love for that to happen, but I can't bet on that to happen just yet. I wrote down City money line at minus 105. I also like City team total at minus 110, minus 113, which you had there. They need the points, and I
They
refuse to
do,
believe they don't get
yeah,
them.
they do have to get the win here. City playing on Thursday night would make my year. It would absolutely make my year.
Agree.
I would actually like to see either of these teams playing on Thursday night next year. Crystal Palace are taking on Bournemouth. I'm once again going back to both teams to score an over 2.5. Bournemouth, it's hitting 10 of their last 17. Palace only 6 of their last 16. Bournemouth got their first win in 8 games. They were on an 8 game streak where they were dropping points. They took care of business against Fulham. Crystal Palace coming off back-to-back losses where they've given up 5 goals. So I do expect goals in this game, but I am going to play Palace team total over 1.5 at plus 120. They've hit that in 10 of their last 16 games, and Bournemouth have given that up in 8 of their last 17. Both of these teams, some Jekyll and Hyde-ness of late.
Yeah.
I need Palace to bounce back here because I did put a ticket on them to finish top half at plus 300. So I would love a win here. And these are two teams that have gone far in the FA Cup and had good seasons and well, at Bournemouth are kind of sliding right now. But what
Yeah.
do you think?
Two teams that I can't make heads or tails of, quite honestly. I just had the over 2.5 written down at minus 135 because I do think it comes in. So I'm with you. I think both teams do score. Kind of lean Bournemouth, draw no bet, minus 115 a little bit, but not officially.
That Palace home field advantage is a good one in
It
the
is,
Premier
but
League.
man, they can't stop anybody from
No, they
scoring right
cannot.
now. And
They
that
cannot.
really just kind of has me not being able to back them.
Although Serie A legend Justin Kluivert has been
Unbelievable.
yeah, but dealing with an injury. I think he's back, but has not been. He's been missed by the Cherries. Very fun game. Probably the best game of the Premier League weekend. It's not going on our cover art because technically the Premier League could be one on Sunday. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Aston Villa are taking on Newcastle. Aston Villa beat PSG in the middle of the week, but lost the tie. Newcastle,
Rolling.
maybe the hottest team in the world right now.
Yep.
Like just destroying teams. I have two plays. Newcastle team total over 1.5 at plus 128. It's hit four straight. And Villa have given that total up in two of the last three. Their defense, but both of these teams need points. Newcastle are kind of in a good spot. They're definitively top five. I actually think there's like an outside chance that they finish as high as second.
Yeah,
They very, very well could. And I will also take Isak at plus 145 anytime.
I like that. Listen, Villa's been good as well. You have to give them props. Like you said, Castle, both these teams to score. You'd have to go to 3 or 3.5 to get a playable number. I'm going to give out some unconventional picks here. Pending lineups. Gordon shot on target, minus 130. I like
Love
that.
it.
He's been
Love
good.
it.
And the one that is, a little bit of a risk here, Sandro Tonali, plus 225 shot on target. The guy has, I think he scored in like 3 of the last 6 games or something like that. So certainly not afraid to fire at will. This team is clicking on all cylinders. Everybody's getting involved. Plus 225 to hit the rectangle seems okay.
Hopefully future guest of this podcast, Sandro Tonali.
Very
Would
welcome.
love to have him on the show anytime he wants. And I'm so happy you said that because he has been one of those guys that I keep watching. Oh shit, he just hit the frame again, or he scored a banger from distance. He is one of those guys that I've been trying to like write down. Oh yeah, he's doing well. We need to put him on the pod. I'm so happy you brought him up. Let's jump to Sunday, a very big London derby. These fan bases historically don't like each other. Fulham are taking on Chelsea. Chelsea, what a mess. They advance in the Conference League. Shout out to the Legia Warsaw fans today that went tarps off for the boys for the whole section. All like 3,000 of their fans shirtless all at the same time. It was an
Must have been
electric
freezing.
factory. Um, Fulham are taking on Chelsea. I'm going to take Fulham draw no bet at plus 110. They have 3 wins from 4 at home. I know you're going to tell me Chelsea need points, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Liverpool needed points. They went to Fulham. They got their ass beat. Like Fulham belt to ass on Liverpool a couple weeks ago. This Chelsea team, like Liverpool's in a little bit of a rut. Like they're playing well and then take their foot off the gas. Chelsea are not playing at all. Like Fulham could do some things to Chelsea on Sunday, and I don't know why I didn't write down Fulham to score twice. I hope you have it because that's probably the play. You're gonna be on the other side of this, aren't you?
I have fantastic news for everybody. What week are we into the Premier League? 33?
33.
33 weeks. I believe I'm 0 and 32 betting Fulham, one way or the other. So the good news is I am on Chelsea draw no bet, minus 130. They do need the points. I have yet to get a Fulham game correct. So the fact that you are on Fulham means we have given the listeners the exact play to take in this game. Fulham might be the lock of the century.
Fulham team total over 1.5 is plus 135. Chelsea have spent £1 billion and can't find a goalkeeper, and their defense there is not one defender. Well, that's not true. There's
Oh, don't
no, you
say
know
it.
what? You know what? There's not one defender I would take at Liverpool. There's not one defender
No.
I would take at Liverpool. Reece James can't stay healthy. Levi Colwill is supposed to be really good, but he's a left-sided center back. I have Virgil van Dijk for 2 more years. Why do I need Levi Colwill? Their back line is atrocious. Their goalies are awful. I would take Liverpool's backup keeper any day of the week over any of the Chelsea keepers. Yeah, I think Fulham went out right here.
I love how you just created a debate out of nothing with yourself. I love that. No, there's not a player on Chelsea outside of maybe Cole Palmer you should want on Liverpool.
Uh, I don't like him anymore, but I would take Caicedo. He could play backup to Gravenberch. Like that is a position of need, but I wouldn't pay
Yeah.
the price for him. But yeah. Um, Speaking of Liverpool, they can technically win the Premier League on Sunday. We need a miracle, but here's the thing: it is Easter Sunday. We've seen miracles happen on this day before.
Wouldn't be
People
the
forget
first.
that.
Would not be
People
the first.
people forget that. You would need Ipswich to beat Arsenal outright, and then Liverpool would need to beat Leicester. Liverpool beating Leicester part probably happens. The Ipswich part not so much, but trophies in sight. Two things for you, or yeah, I have three bets actually here Four, wait, no, I have four. I have four. I lied. Luis Diaz, score or assist, -110. Goal contribution in five straight for club and country, and goal contribution in five straight Premier League games. Anytime goal scorer, +165. He scored last weekend. I think you could play either of those, whatever you're more comfortable with. Um, I am going to give out the Leicester under half a goal at +112 in their last 16 games. Leicester have only scored in three of them. They did score last weekend, but they're without a game in eight straight games at home. No, the home cooking not good for the Foxes. I don't hate Liverpool and over 3.5 at +140. I feel like Liverpool could finally beat up on somebody. Whether or not I'll lock that in, TBD. Because they've been kind of just like going up 1-0 and fucking around a little bit and
Yeah.
finding out, and that's kind of why I would hedge with the over 3.5 because I could see Liverpool like pissing this one away a little bit.
In the words of the manager from Major League, I got a hunch they're due. Liverpool team total over 2.5, even money. I think Liverpool just get it done. Like you said, the trophy is within sight. It's time to just get it done in the next 2 weeks and relax and have a parade and go off into the sunset. Pool could do it. Leicester stink.
Yeah, Leicester going down, confirmed going down. We were going to talk about Real Madrid Athletic Club, but then we decided we didn't want to. Let's go to Italy. Lecce are taking on Como Saturday morning. Great Como spot. Moneyline +110. Lecce winless in their last 10 with six losses and three draws. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. Como are
Yeah.
good. Lecce are stink. Give me Como.
Yeah. Shout out Como. Better than I thought they would be. Pretty as expected, I think, for a newly promoted side. They got a lot of hype. Starting to come due on that hype. So money line +110. I'm right there with you.
Two of the best games of the weekend are in Italy on Sunday. Bologna are taking on Inter. This is 5 versus 1. And then you also have, I don't know how good Milan Atalanta is going to be because it's two Jekyll and Hyde sides, but maybe the best game of the weekend is Bologna Inter. Um, both teams to score at -116 has hit in seven of their last 10 head-to-head games. Inter, both teams to score has hit in nine of their last 11. It's only four of the last 10 for Bologna, but I know we talk about how good Inter are defensively, and they are well drilled, but people
Yes.
have been scoring against them.
Yes.
Both teams are scoring over 2.5 at +140, which is hitting five of the last six for Inter is very intriguing to me. But I think my lock of the weekend is Inter team total over 1.5 at +135. It's hitting nine of the last 11 games. This is a team that I think is going to win a league title that is in the semifinal of a Champions League. I think they scored two here. Frankly, they have to score two here. Napoli have a very easy game on
That
Saturday, and Inter have this is a gauntlet. This is how you win championships, and this is probably a preview of the Coppa Italia final. Bologna are not officially through, but pretty much through, and Inter still have to get past AC Milan in a second leg of a uh, Milan derby.
I interestingly like that you believe in Inter in this game. I like that you believe in their team total. I like that you believe in goals. You said a lot of things that are 100% correct. You said a lot of things that I would have touched on had you not, but I might even reiterate them because why not? It's that important to mention. Napoli have gone through the hard part of their schedule. They only play once a week. They're in one competition. They conceivably could win out. Inter has an insanely rough schedule coming up. They have this game against Bologna. They have Milan at the midweek in the cup. Roma the following weekend in the league. Then you play Barcelona. It doesn't get easier. There's really no room for them to slip up. I have to imagine just a little bit that they're looking ahead to this Milan game. I think Bologna plus a quarter of a goal at -115 is very, very, very playable. Bologna was on a really good run. They had a stinker last week. They got shut out by Atalanta, which is definitely a much needed win for Atalanta. We'll talk about it second. The only thing I'm trying to say here is very, very tricky game. Whether you tell this play or not, I just think it's a look ahead spot for Inter. Tired legs. They have played some really stressful football over the past month and a half. Be cautious. Could they score two goals at will? Absolutely. Scored two goals on Bayern Munich 2 games in a row. Shout out them. Bologna's defense is not the greatest thing you've ever seen. Just be careful. Inter could be looking ahead. I see a draw could be in play in this game. I definitely see both teams scoring. Just watch out.
Both teams to score -115. I was shocked.
Yep.
I was shocked. It's a very good number. I don't see this one ending zeros, but Bologna, I don't know. They either tend to win in a shutout or get shut out. So
Right.
that is very much the risk there. Milan, Atalanta, these are two like I have two bets here, and I could feel like the biggest winner for this or the biggest fucking loser for this. Both teams to score in over 2.5 is -125. It just doesn't hit in Atalanta games though, because they either score a million goals and win in a shutout, or they don't, or they
Score.
get shut out. And Atalanta team total over 1.5 is +120, but it's hitting 3 of the last 7 and only 2 of the last 4 head to head. If if here's I will feel confident about these bets the second I see the formation from AC Milan. If they run out of 3-4-3, I'm actually going to get scared because their best formation is a 3-4-3. They've refused. We follow enough of the same AC Milan fans on twitter.com. I refuse to call it X.
Never.
We follow enough of the same people on Twitter that talk about this, and it's like Milan are not built for a 4-2-3-1. They've been running it
Yep.
all season, and they've been awful. They pull out a 3-4-3 last Friday, and they
Look decent.
annihilate somebody.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, yeah, maybe you should put Teo Hernandez further up the field and let him do Teo things.
Yeah.
Like,
That's literally the only thing he's good at. So maybe put him in a position of strength. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Listen, for anybody that is new to the show or hasn't heard me, I've been wrong on AC Milan more this year than I've been wrong on anything in my betting career.
and
I
we
thought
and
that,
you're 0-32 on Fulham.
and I'm 0-32 on Fulham. I've been more wrong on AC Milan if that's possible. No, listen, I thought this would be a top four team in Italy. I really did. And I still do believe they have the talent to be that team, certainly relative to the teams that are in the top four, top five, top six right now. But they've gone through it. They've cost me a lot of bets this year. I can't like back them in this game, and like the books kind of want you to, and it's really weird. I wrote down Atalanta team total at +120. I just think that's a good number. Atalanta, listen, they're fighting for their life in top four as well. They can't really afford to drop games. Atalanta plus a quarter of a goal, -130. Little juicy, but draw suits them just fine in this one. They need something. Their schedule is pretty tough as well, but this is definitely one of the harder games. So Milan at home, I'd expect them to generate some offense. I think they have to eventually look better than they had, but Atalanta has to be the side in this one.
All right, before we jump to the both teams to score parlay, it's +256 this week. I want to remind you all, first of all, subscribe to the podcast, whatever platform you are consuming it on, whether you're watching it here on YouTube or actually, I did put the podcast up as a watch version on Spotify. I'm going to keep doing that. If you guys like that,
Is that a
let me
new
know.
thing?
If you don't like that, also let me know. Um,
That's cool.
yeah, we can do that now. Additionally, if you're looking for more picks and analysis, we do have a newsletter now. Subscribe to that. It's free. It comes to your inbox every weekend or every Friday. It will remind you that the podcast is out. And also, our guy Marcus is going to throw out some other quick tidbits week to week. And he and I are discussing the idea of us having a trackable segment where we track our locks of the weekend. I just need to figure that out. If you want to sponsor locks of the weekend, let me know. Both teams to score parlay, which is not sponsored and should be because every weekend it blows up on TikTok. It's three
It's
legs. It's three legs. It is +256, and it starts in the Premier League. Brighton are taking on Brentford. We didn't touch that game because I think there's just going to be chaos, and I can't predict it. But Brentford have played 15 games in the Premier League. 7 of those games have been both teams to score. Brighton have played 17 times in the Premier League. This isn't even Premier League. It's 2025. So the last 17 games, 9 of those have been both teams to score. Aston Villa, Newcastle screams both teams to score. This is two good English teams. Newcastle 20 games, 11 both teams to score in 25, and Villa 23 games, 14 games both teams to score. And a team I've been tracking on both teams to score. It's hitting 5 of their last 6. Mainz, 14 games they've played in 2025. It's 5 of their last 6. They're taking on Wolfsburg. Wolfsburg, 15 games played in 25, and 8 of those, both teams.
yeah, terrible
So,
defense. I like
yeah.
it.
Yep. That'll wrap it up from us. No midweek pod, but I might have midweek picks as we do have midweek games. There is um I don't know if it's next week that there's FA Cup. So FA Cup weekend is coming up soon and it must be next week.
In
Um
Champions League, like, not this coming week, the week after. There's midweek games in the league this week. The week
I
after is
think that
Champions League.
yes. I think that like Arsenal are playing like Crystal Palace and um Nottingham Forest are playing. I think Nottingham Forest are playing Monday. I think City are playing in the middle of the week or whatever because they're playing in the FA Cup in the middle of they're playing FA Cup on the weekend next weekend. Is the FA Cup semifinals, I think. I could be totally wrong. But all I'm saying is that there's a couple games sprinkled throughout the week that we'll be betting on that I will have videos out for. So make sure you're following ye old social channels at the Plus Money Pod and at Andrew Passaro and at Nick Dianni, and we'll have you covered for the middle of the week, and then we'll be back next weekend. And hypothetically, Liverpool can win the Premier League, and I will be in Las Vegas, and maybe I won't come back. So we'll see. We'll figure
I
it out.
wouldn't.
Why leave? Why leave? We'll see. I don't want to jinx it, but until then, everybody have a great one. Gamble responsibly. Be safe. Have a great weekend. See ya.
Good luck.